Welcome, everybody, to this week's ZoomCast. We've got the guy who you've seen on the Rugged X shows. He's been in a bunch of great hunting books like Close Calls and Hunting Adventures and several other fantastic hunting books. You know him from the TV show as the high-tech redneck, or sometimes he's referred to as the techno stud, the one and only Mack Padgett.
Thanks, Al. It's certainly a pleasure to be here on the Rugged X ZoomCast. I know it's taken you a while, but I figured you were saving the best for later on in the series.
That's right. Not necessarily the last, but
Not
the later.
Last.
So you're up in Kenai right now, is that correct?
Right here in beautiful Kenai, Alaska, where it is salmon mania. I mean, this is Christmas, New Year's, and the 4th of July rolled all into one. We got king salmon, we got sockeye salmon, we're dip netting. It's just, fish, eat, sleep, just repeat over and over again. I have no idea. We can make July last for, 100 cycles.
Heaven on earth for a fisherman this time.
Heaven on earth for fishermen right this minute.
Praise the Lord. So,
some people are born to fish.
That's right, especially you.
Yeah.
So, Mack, people are always asking me, they say, how did you guys meet? And it's kind of a strange thing when you think about it, because we really, other than hunting and fishing, we don't have a lot in common. Like, I mean, you're a computer guy, I'm not. You're tall, I'm not. You live in Alaska, I don't. You have an accent, I don't. Things like that. So what do you think was the defining factor that finally joined us together?
Well, Al, certain things are just meant to happen. Our paths crossed. We had time on our hands at early age when so many people in that situation are being told what they can't do. We didn't have anybody around to tell us, no, you can't spend 7 days in a row fishing 24 hours a day. Nobody said, don't do that.
Not that I used to do that all the time or anything. I'm just saying, I was working in Alaska.
Right. Nobody said, you're only 29 years old. You can't go to Africa. You got to wait for that trip of a lifetime. It's like, well, let's go ahead and get this thing rolling. So I think common interest, and even though we are from absolute opposite ends of the geographic spectrum, given that I'm a South Carolinian and living in Alaska did bring us together. So, we're going to get this thing sorted out one day. I figure it's 35, 6 years? I don't know, some number. I don't like it too much, but we'll get it right sooner or later.
That would mean, by the way, for you Rugged X fans, that we actually met when we were 10, if it was 35 years ago. So,
but you got to start early, right?
Yeah, let's not get into technicalities.
Oh, yeah.
So you touched on Africa. So what's your memories? Our first trip to Africa, give me your reaction to it.
Luckily, there wasn't a whole lot of planning involved. We were in a circumstance you had been. It had obviously, I was jealous, of course, heard all these stories about your first trip, and some friends said, hey, we've got a trip that we can't take. Why don't you guys go? That was, a few weeks later, we were on the ground. So that works. That
was a great trip.
That was a great trip.
And it was the beginning of our buffalo quest, if I remember right.
It was.
That was we ended up in Zambia with the infamous Ronnie Sparrow, wasn't it?
That was Mr. Sparrow with Fair Chase Safaris there in Nyampala. That was too good.
The real deal.
There again, it's not often that.
Speaking of buffalo hunting, here's one of those.
Speaking of buffalo hunting.
Watch this. I don't know what that black thing is in there. Hello. That's a Team Paps double right there. That's Alain and Mack letting them have it the Rugged X style.
Certainly that was we were well accustomed to it by then. I wish we could replay some of those first ones, or had the cameraman along to to capture that excitement.
That's about as close as you want to get right there. What were we right there? Was that like 30 yards-ish, or what's your recollection?
I think that was 30 yards on that one.
Yeah, those are nice.
Those are nice.
There's just something about sneaking in on buffalo. So, okay, the other question I get all the time is, you're going to Africa, and if you can only take one rifle, what are you taking?
You got to take a 375, right? I mean, is there a better round? I know all those gun nuts and people that talk about all these calibers and they take all these guns and one thing and another. But after I shot yours, I went out and got my own.
The Kenai Crippler.
The Kenai Crippler right here, just a good old model 7375 with good optics. Everything, I mean, long range-ish. Because it's, I mean, we're hunters, right? Let's try to get a little closer.
Yeah.
And if you can't, you can still, you can still reach out.
Yep, that's a classic.
And you get used to shooting it. You get used to shooting it, and you're ready when you need to.
And I think the 375, when you're in the field, it has a bit of a reputation for those that haven't shot it a lot as really kicking a lot. And yeah, on the bench, you want to have your cousin sight it in for you. But when you're out in the field, I'll be honest with you, I don't think I know the difference between my 7 and my 375. You just pick them up and boom, stuff falls over.
I couldn't agree with you more. As duck hunters, everybody's accustomed to shooting a 12 gauge, and I would suggest, or I know I've had my bail rung quite a few times by a 12 gauge. I wouldn't say 375 is any worse than that. And again, when you're in close, right? When you're there and you're in the moment, there you go.
Yeah. No, it's great. And I think the other thing I love about the 375 too is that when you're there, if you run out of bullets, somebody's going to have 375s. Nobody's going to have a 380 blah, 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 Hootawati special, caliber. So not that the airlines ever lose your baggage, as we well know, but if they did and you didn't have your bullets, you're not hunting, or else you're going to use a borrowed guide's rifle, or, maybe a guy's slingshot that's in camp or something.
And, from a more practical standpoint, early in our relationship, I was shooting a 30-06 and you were shooting a 7mm, and we got into some situations where, one of us was out of bullets. It's like, this doesn't work. I mean, if I need more bullets, I want Al Smith packing my bullets.
That's right. Not that we've been known to shoot until stuff falls down, but that's always been our motto as a unit is keep shooting till it's dead.
It's the right circumstance, the right rest, the right distance. That stuff happens once in a while. Sometimes it doesn't happen.
What do you think? What's your recollection of the most times we shot 1 Cape buffalo between us?
Between us? There have been a few where the trackers were checking to see exactly how many buffalo have been collected.
How about this one?
That one took some punishment.
Wasn't that? I think that was actually borrowed rifles because our rifles didn't show up.
Absolutely.
I recall something around 11 shots on that thing.
Something like that. There's shots and then there's holes in the buffalo. So sometimes, sometimes
that's right.
Anyway.
And you notice on that first shot how he's not exactly in a prime location. That's not your best shot right there. Kind of a going away. And there might have been one in the hiney too. I'm not sure, but that was a.
Personally, I kind of like the hiney shot when it works. When it's if they present, you got to take it, right?
Yeah, you got to take what you can get. And buffalo are not always going to be coming towards you, but you got to give them one. I mean, what are we going to do? We snuck in that close, and that was in Uganda. That was actually a Nile buffalo, and that's about as big of a Nile buffalo as you can possibly get. And he had a snare on his leg too. That one.
He did have a snare on his leg.
Yeah.
And again, if he presents that going away shot, you've got to take it. Because I would personally rather take that shot than one with him coming right at us and getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So
Yeah,
I like the other way.
for sure. So for those of you that don't know what Mack's up to all the time nowadays, while still, being a celebrity on the Rugged X show occasionally, he's not working full time, and he's been taking up a new gig as a preacher. So you can see here, he presides over weddings and, things like that. So if you're looking for a, minister for a gig, have Bible will travel is your motto, isn't it?
And I got to think I cut a pretty striking figure in him, Dusty that in a black suit.
You look semi-professional right there.
And
a great sermon. And boy, that was a good night, as I recall, what I remember of it.
I recall that was a life event right there.
Look at lovely Miss Shelley.
Look at her.
Am I the luckiest guy in the whole world or what?
We gave some people pause when we came walking down the aisle together, but they got over it.
Yeah, she lost the lottery.
We walked up on a lot of dangerous situations, and that's just another one in a long list of dangerous situations.
That's right. Luckily, I've lived through it so far.
Yeah.
So, all right, it's time for the fastest five. We have fans that always send us in questions for whichever celebrity we're going to have on. They want to ask questions to really get into your personality and know more about the real Mack Padgett.
Okay.
So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, hold on. I'm getting a bit of a frog in my throat. It's like 9 o'clock in the morning here, so. I lost my swizzle stick. Whew, that's a little bold for this time of day.
You can't say you've been drinking all day if you don't start early in the morning.
Good call. All right, here we go. Fastest five sent in from Rugged X fans from all over the world because they heard I was talking to Mack Padgett today. You ready? And you got to answer just like that. No thinking, no delay. This is boom, boom, boom. All right.
That's the way I roll.
The hook on a big old, 55-pound king or something. Fastest five.
Fastest five.
Favorite animal to hunt?
Got to be Cape Buffalo, right? That's an easy one.
I just thought you might have something else up your sleeve, but that would have been my choice too, but I had to ask. Have you ever eaten an elephant?
I have eaten an elephant, and it was actually twice. The first time and the last time, all rolled into one.
Was it tough?
It was. If we had continued to chew it, I think I would still be chewing it, and that might have been in a year that started with something other than 2-0.
Yes, the old days of Zimbabwe elephants when I think we had elephant for Thanksgiving now that you mention it.
Yes.
One year. There was no turkeys in Zimbabwe that year, so we ended up having elephant meat. And yeah, they could put that stuff on the front of the space shuttle. It wouldn't burn up. It's so tough.
That's good.
All right, if you have your choice, fishing or hunting?
Wow. Al, I'm going to have to go with fishing. It's, I love hunting. I don't have a room full of stuff, but I do have a few things.
Yeah, look at that sheep.
And I love to hunt, and I think there's just more fishing opportunities, and you're getting to that stage in life where you don't like carrying the cooler anymore. So there you go.
No, it's a good point. I think it's a great question because, we pretty much had a motto that when we're fishing, we're just fishing because we're not hunting. And if we're hunting, that's because we're not fishing. So it's kind of I don't know how to answer that either because, as long as we're doing one of the two, life is grand.
And, luckily there's not that much conflict. You can always stop one to go do the other.
Yeah. Now, the next question, which I think you've already answered, but favorite caliber?
Again, got to be 375. You're not shooting a 12 gauge.
Yep. Good call. Favorite country to hunt in?
Favorite country to hunt in? Well, we've had some great experiences in quite a few. Again, you mentioned that first trip into Zambia, and that was my only trip into Zambia. Mm-hmm. That was an ideal situation. It would be interesting to see what it looks like today. But again, Tanzania, Tanzania is hard to beat. There's a lot of good spots out there.
Yeah. I think just being in Africa, period, is great. But, and also we've got a lot of great stuff to do here in North America. Let's not forget that. Because when you look at number of species available and, you know, great places to go, we've got some remote wilderness areas that are, you know, out of this world, and especially in the Rockies and that, you know, are as remote as anywhere you can get once you get in there backpacking or taking horses in. So, but hey, that's, you know.
Wouldn't you agree that it's all about a good camp? Those safari dudes in Africa nail that camp lifestyle. So when you've got a good, you know, comfortable place to sleep, somebody there cooking for you, organizing the truck and knowing where to go and on, I'll go to that place. I'm in. I don't care what continent it's on. You got a good camp and, you know, it's set up right and I'm in.
Yeah, that's the truth, isn't it? Because no matter how bad the day is or how bad the weather is or anything else, you come back, especially when you got some buddies there. I think that camaraderie and just having that whole camp life, the safari life, is what really draws us back over and over again. Because, you know, just like we've always had to do, you work your butt off day in and day out to save up your money so you can go hunting or fishing. So when you go there,
I mean, think about the safari camps that we've been in fishing. So it's that experience. You get into that mode where, you know, one day just sort of blends into another, and that's bliss as far as I'm concerned.
No, it's odd. Speaking of fishing, look at this.
Look at that king.
How about that?
That's not that long ago.
No, that's just pre-COVID, I think, wasn't it?
I think it is. Yeah. Another beautiful king salmon. Because again, you didn't ask about that favorite species. You know, we've chased and caught a lot of fish, but you gotta like those old kings.
Yeah. Where's the most exotic place you would say that you've fished through the years?
You know, I would say it's Columbia, the country, not the capital of South Carolina. I know you get it confused. But, you know, we went in there quite a few years ago before it was popular or necessarily safe. I don't know that it's ever gotten safe. That was pretty exotic. We were off the grid there.
Yeah, you know that it's really, you're off the grid when you have to get off the plane. You fly from Bogota to another town inside the same country. And when you get off the plane, the military meets you and goes through all your stuff as if you just landed in a foreign country.
And
keeps your tennis shoes.
The office was a pig pen. It was a fenced-in, hog-wired thing with a shed roof. And the kid with the AK-47 wanted my shoes. It was uncomfortable, very uncomfortable.
Yeah, and it was loaded and hot and pointing wherever he turned like this. Remember that? That thing was like, we're like, hey!
You know, I don't even think he was minimum age. He might, if he was 18, he was stretching it.
Yeah, well, that was during all the Colombia drug wars and all that was going on and all the cocaine stuff that was going on. And luckily, we were just out there hunting and fishing, minding our own business and didn't get in too much trouble. But
no trouble at all. And
we got to fish out of the dugout canoes with the Indians. That was a blast.
So that would be pretty exotic, wouldn't you say?
That's pretty tough to beat. But
tough to beat. And again, it would be interesting. I don't know if you can even go there today. So.
I still don't hear about it opening up. Can you even go dove hunting there anymore? I don't know about Colombia. I haven't thought of it. We always go to Argentina now because it's so great, or Bolivia or places like that. But, well, awesome. So what's on the schedule? You got anything coming up this fall? You got a trip, another fishing trip coming up besides the great fishing in Alaska? I know it's hard to get out fishing in Alaska other than on the road system right now, but.
You know, it's, I don't know whether you've heard, but there's this virus thing going on.
What?
And it's kind of thrown, yeah. I mean, I try to avoid it, and the great thing about being here in Kenai is that you can avoid it pretty much.
Yeah.
So we've got some plans for South Carolina. You know, we've got some plans for Europe if they let us go. And this, you know, in the years that I've known you, I think this is probably the biggest lull that we've had where we didn't have something hunting and fishing on the agenda.
Yeah. My mom told me the other day that this is the longest that I've ever been in Seattle since I was in high school, since I was 18 years old. And because you can't go anywhere, and we've always traveled and always had the stuff going on. But on the other side of the coin, like we talked about before, there's still plenty of stuff to do. You just got to get out there and do it, and not sit around the house and mope, and have fun.
Exactly. And we're ready for you to come right on back up here to Kenai. We've always got plenty of options. These sockeye are pouring in, and they start doing their spawning ritual, and that makes the rainbow go crazy.
Hello.
So, that'll run right on in until it gets too cold to do it. And my name is actually Shoot Some Ducks up here this year. It's it's not that primo duck hunting that you guys get there on the Pacific Northwest, but there's still ducks around, and the seed starts in the 1st of September, which, again, that was what kept me in Alaska when I first came here. I could not believe that duck season came in September, so I said, well, I got to hang around and see what that looks like.
Yeah, why not? Early bird. Well, I'm guessing that there's a lot still going to happen this year. And yeah, you're going to see me coming up there. I just got to, do my testing and that, come up, get some fish, got to fill up the freezer since there isn't any game meat in it so far. And definitely, although I can't be there for September for duck hunting, but I see a Rugged X duck shoot in Washington State somewhere in your near future too, after October 15th. So plan on it.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
All right. We'll get out there and catch some fish and load that freezer up because, we got to live off the land. We're COVID and all that. And thanks also for not wearing a mask today. I was going to wear mine, but because I was told that my computer has a virus. And so I thought, well, maybe I'm going to catch something from it. But then I thought, nah, I got Mack on here. He's like the doctor of computers, so he could fix my virus anyhow.
Yeah, this whole thing. Plus, they say if you're eating and drinking, that you don't have to wear a mask. So I try to keep eating and drinking most of the time. It's tough. Supply is hectic.
That's the way it is on the airlines right now. As long as you're drinking and eating, you don't have to wear a mask. Yep. So I pretty much drank the whole way up last time.
And from a social distancing standpoint and shared experience, I figure if you got it, I got it, or whatever, it'll sort itself out.
Yeah. Wouldn't be the first time. All right. Great to see you. Thanks for joining us, and looking forward to our next Rugged Expedition together.
Absolutely, man.
Rugged X, baby. See you later.
All right, buddy. Bye.